Joyce Dewitt, as Janet Wood on Three's Company, only missed just one episode out of the total 172 episodes of the show. Many people think that absence was due to the salary dispute that was going on between the cast members. But was that the only reason? Or was there something kinky also going on underground? And have you ever wondered why Janet Wood was always in leggings, never showing her bare legs or any cleavage, while Chrissy Snow was allowed to show as much cleavage as possible in the show? You'd be surprised as we reveal some of the untold stories of Joyce Dewitt's life that highlight her strange and unusual sex life per Hollywood standards. Joyce will forever be remembered for her role in Three's Company, where she played the down-to-earth, sensible dancer-turned-florist Janet Wood. But the role didn't just land in her lap. When it came to auditioning for Three's Company, it was literally a gamble for Joyce. She was given a choice of 2 sitcoms to audition for. To add more pressure, she had only 24 hours to decide which one. Luckily, she went with Three's Company. And we say luckily because the other show never picked off the ground. However, auditions were fierce, and there were a few other famous names also hoping to land a spot on the show. Lonnie Anderson and Billy Crystal are just some of them. But just like Joyce, they were all unknown actors at the time. Joyce won the auditions, but what may have seemed like a dream come true was just the beginning of what would prove to be a wild and tumultuous journey filled with sex scandals, betrayal, and drama, both on and off the set. The first episode of Three's Company aired in 1977, but just as soon as the show kicked off, it was almost over for Joyce. After the first 6 episodes, she reportedly wanted to quit, feeling that the producers portrayed her character as too harsh. She took the producers head on and eventually forced them to develop her character more. But according to some sources, there was another point of contention for Joyce, the possible sexualization of her character. At the time, her co-star Suzanne Summers, who played her clueless and clumsy stereotypical blonde roommate Chrissy Snow, was already portrayed as a kind of sex bomb on the show. Her outfits were unmistakably designed to draw the attention of male suitors, often tight-fitting clothes that revealed quite a bit of cleavage. Basically, Chrissy was eye candy. During that era, ABC was described as jiggle television, a term coined by NBC executive Paul Klein. Jiggle television was overly sexual, featured scantily clad women, and was full of innuendos and suggestive language. As the saying goes, sex sells, and ABC took full advantage of it in their sitcoms. While John Ritter was arguably the star of the show, Suzanne was often the one in the spotlight. For instance, the 1978 cover of Newsweek magazine, where a sexy, hot Suzanne Summers was front and center with John Ritter haplessly staring at her boobs. People hardly noticed Joyce on the cover. That sex bomb portrayal made Suzanne a sex symbol in real life as well, which was probably very fitting as she would later in life openly talk about her crazy personal sex life. For instance, how she and her husband would do the no pants dance at least 3 times a day, and that before noon. John himself was also not innocent at all and got up to all sorts of scandalous behavior, even on set. As Joyce and Suzanne would reveal after his death, John had a habit of sleeping with the guest stars.
But years later, I did find out there was some going on.
And Joyce wasn't the only one to think that about John.
John was very horny. I mean, like the horniest guy I've ever known.
But Joyce, on the other hand, was apparently far more conservative. Her sex life was a private matter. In fact, so was most of her personal life. And one thing she refused to do was to allow her character, and indeed herself, to be portrayed as a sex symbol and to be gawked at by lustful men. Noticeably, her character was never seen with revealing outfits or bare legs. And this was no thanks to the producers. It was Joyce who refused to show her legs, much to the annoyance of producers. Her insistence on wearing leggings even landed her a deal with a pantyhose brand. Around the same time, she was battling her own demons, especially in her love life. Her relationship with her longtime lover, actor Ray Buchanan, was falling apart. The couple had been together for 7 years before it all came tumbling down, but it did not take her too long to jump into bed with someone else. Joyce reportedly started dating a man named Stuart Ehrlich, although not much was known about their relationship. After yet another breakup, it once again did not take her long to fall in love once more. In the early 80s, Joyce started dating actor LeVar Burton, who was a full 8 years her junior. However, it wasn't the age difference that would eventually drive them apart. Rumors are that LeVar even asked Joyce to marry him, but they ultimately broke up because of the pressure from her parents, who refused to approve of her interracial relationship. While her personal life was a hot mess, her professional life proved to be an equal struggle. Joyce was bumping heads with producers over her salary. When they did not deliver on their promise to up her salary, she called in sick, apparently saying that she was sick at heart, sick in the soul, because the producers went back on their word. It resulted in Joyce missing one episode, the only one she missed for the entire run of the show. Nevertheless, the producers were quick to beg her to come back, and they made good on their promise. But few people realized just how horribly Joyce's stubbornness with the producers could have backfired on her. Richard Klein, who played Jack's best friend Larry Dallas, also bumped heads with the producers. When he reportedly approached them and said, "I'd like to discuss my character," he was simply written out of the show for 4 weeks as punishment. And notoriously, Suzanne Summers was unceremoniously fired after ongoing fights to get a pay raise of her own, demanding to be paid $150,000 per episode. Suzanne may not have been too unreasonable, though. After all, that was what John Ritter and other male actors were being paid. So it hardly seemed fair that Suzanne and Joyce were only getting $30,000 per episode. That's 5 times less than their male counterparts. When Suzanne insisted, she was met with a cold reply. The show's response was, "Who do you think you are?" They said, "John Ritter is the star." The network eventually offered her a mere $5,000 increase. In retaliation, she went on strike, missing 2 episodes during the taping of season 5. The night before renegotiations with the network, Suzanne received a chilling call from a friend who had high-up friends in ABC. What the friend told her was shocking. They're going to hang a nun in the marketplace, and the nun is Suzanne. The network was willing to do this because earlier that year, the women on Laverne and Shirley had gotten what they asked for, and they wanted to put a stop to it. Not only did the network fire her, but the rest of her career was in tatters. She even had to resort to flaunting her nude body for a spread in Playboy magazine just to stay relevant. Suzanne was subsequently replaced by actress Janalee Harrison, who played her character's fictional cousin, Cindy Snow. In hindsight, this could have easily happened to Joyce as well, who early on in her career seemed to have been in constant odds with the producers, but somehow got her way each time. One such example was while filming an episode in season 2. There was one particular line that Joyce refused to say, as she felt it was demeaning towards sex workers. In the episode, Chrissy is mistaken for being a prostitute. At the end of the episode, Chrissy's friend, who was in fact a prostitute, says that Chrissy is priceless. This was to insinuate that she will never sell her body. In response, Joyce was to reply with the line, "And she's going to stay that way." But Joyce reportedly had major issues with the line, deeming it disparaging towards sex workers. Later in her career, Joyce would suffer a bitter betrayal at the hands of John Ritter. Near the end of Three's Company during season 8, the network was already in plans to cast John in a spin-off called Three's a Crowd. But according to reports, they wanted to keep it hush-hush, and they instructed John not to say a word to anyone, not even to Joyce, who of course wasn't offered a part in the spin-off series. Understandably, this vow of silence placed John in a sticky situation, but nevertheless, when Joyce found out that John had kept it hidden from her, she took it rather personally. But at any rate, Three's a Crowd turned out to be a failure and was canceled after just 1 season. After Three's Company ended, Joyce took a long and well-deserved break from acting. She has since appeared in numerous television and film productions, but has been far more active in stage and theater acting, which has always been her true passion. In fact, even as a child, her dreams and focus were set on stage performance. Joyce Dewitt was born on April 23, 1949 in Wheeling, West Virginia. However, she was later raised in the small town of Speedway in Indiana and had a fairly normal childhood growing up. She was by no means a shy child. By age 13, she was already performing on stage. By the time she reached high school, she was competing in speech and debate through the Indiana High School Forensic Association. After graduating from Speedway Senior High School, she moved on to earn a bachelor's degree in theater at Ball State University. She also regularly performed in summer stock theater, where one of the directors quickly realized her talent and encouraged her to enroll in the University of California's Department of Theater. Joyce graduated from UCLA in 1974 after being awarded a Master of Fine Arts Fellowship and also the Clifton Webb Scholarship. Before ultimately landing her breakthrough role on Three's Company, Joyce's journey into screen acting wasn't exactly smooth sailing. She even auditioned for Fonzie's girlfriend on Happy Days, but was apparently too short and too young for the producer's liking. Her first ever role was in 2 episodes of Beretta in 1975, where she played an uncredited waitress. The slight recognition and above all her sheer determination eventually led to Three's Company, and as they say, the rest is history. Did you know about the drama and tension both on and off the set of Three's Company? And do you think it was fair for the network to fire Suzanne Somers for wanting equal pay? If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click, enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.